Hey Dragonfly Swarm, so Hu Tao's character rate-up banner has been revealed alongside her weapon banner for the latter half of 2.2, and today I want to take an objective look at the value these two banners bring so that I can help you decide whether or not it's worth pulling on these banners. Obviously, if you like a character or a weapon or whatever, you are 100% at liberty to pull. I'm just giving an objective opinion on the value of these banners so you have an idea of what value you're getting when you pull. So first, taking a look at Hu Tao's rated up 4 stars, it's actually pretty stacked. Obviously, I've vouched for Thoma's viability as the support for Hu Tao many times, so when pulling for Hu Tao, you're also inadvertently pulling for her arguably new best support. Not only that, however, but Thoma's a pretty free-to-play friendly character, so you don't even need to invest too heavily in him to get the most out of his kit for Hu Tao. So if you don't have Zhongli or you have him locked down on another Spiral Abyss team, Thoma is a perfect replacement that'll be able to keep up with Hu Tao's antics quite well. And it's just that more promising that he's rated up on her banner, making it easier to build your Hu Tao team in general. Alongside Hu Tao and Thoma, we also have Diona, one of the most versatile and strongest supports in the game, who has really good constellations, by the way. Diona is a criminally underrated support with great shielding capabilities, cryo application, healing, and even damage buffing in later constellations that makes her a perfect all-rounder support. And if you're running a Melt Hu Tao team, she fits perfectly in it. Which makes me want to vouch for the rerun banner even more, because Thoma and Diona both work really well with Hu Tao in team comps, so when you're pulling for Hu Tao, you're basically pulling for a full team, which is really nice value if you haven't already pulled these characters, or you want constellations on them. Finally, on the rerun banner, we have Sayu again, and Sayu isn't necessarily the greatest pick for a Hu Tao team, but she does fit on a lot of other teams as a well-rounded support and sub DPS. She won't work too well with Hu Tao, mostly because she heals players quite a bit, and Hu Tao's main focus is to stay below 50% HP for her massive damage increase. But I guess you could just completely neglect Sayu's healing and turn her into an Animo sub DPS with 4-piece Viridescent, and she'd work pretty well with Hu Tao, so if you do really like Sayu and want to build her for Hu Tao, there you go. And honestly, if you do that, you can pull for the entire banner's characters and make a full team out of Hu Tao, Thoma, Diona, and Sayu, which, as you can imagine, is a lot of value for your Primogems. So overall with Hu Tao's banner, it's actually one of the highest value banners we've seen in a while. If you're pulling for Hu Tao, you're also pulling for 3 characters that work with her really well, 2 of which being some of her best supports in the game. And even if you don't end up using some of these characters with Hu Tao, Diona and Sayu are both very flexible characters that fit into a lot of team comps. So if you end up pulling them a lot, there's still value to be had, especially with Diona since she's such a strong and versatile support. As for the weapon banner now, you know my thoughts on weapon banners, they're extremely situational, and by that I mean the value of these banners is different for everyone. So let me be clear really quickly when I say do not fall for the weapon banner scam unless you are okay with 90% of the weapons that are rated up. That's my general rule. Obviously Staff of Homa is rated up for Hu Tao, but it also happens to be one of the strongest weapons in the game that you can use on pretty much any polearm user and get value out of it. Elegy for the End, however, is a kind of situational bow that only works really well on a few characters, one of which obviously being Venti. Now, Venti is a great animal support to pair with Hu Tao, and if you do plan to use Venti on your Hu Tao team, this weapon banner is definitely safer for you to pull on than for other players, because either which way your pity goes, you'll likely end up with a 5-star weapon that works amazing with either your Venti or your Hu Tao. As for the 4 stars on this banner though, that's where it really shines this time around. The 4-star selection is cracked, except for that Rain Slasher. The new bow and polearm, Moon's Moon and Wavebreaker's Fin respectively, have the same passive as Akumaru, a claymore that recently got a lot of attention for being absolutely broken. So if you have any polearm or bow users that you like having big burst damage with, these 2 weapons are going to be really nice in most situations, and as I said, they're comparable to Akumaru as they share the same burst buff passive. Sacrificial Sword is another rated up weapon, and it happens to be one of the strongest 4-star weapons in the game when you pair it with Xingqiu, who happens to be Hu Tao's best sub DPS and damage enabler by far, incomparably insane vape damage forever. When you put Sac Sword on Xingqiu, especially with the 4-piece emblem set, he becomes a monster sub DPS, even more so than he already was. That'll be able to output massive damage while also multiplying Hu Tao's own massive damage as it focuses energy recharge, allowing Xingqiu's burst to become much stronger with 4-piece emblem. Then there's the Widzith, and the really great thing about the Widzith is that it's one of the only non-5-star catalyst weapons in the game that works really well with DPS catalyst users. So if you're an Ningguang main or a Yanfei main and you just cannot pull a good catalyst, it might be worth pulling a few times on this banner to nab a Widzith, as it scales with crit damage and has a passive that massively increases either the wielder's attack stat, elemental damage, or elemental mastery anytime they take to the battlefield. And then finally, the Rain Slasher is a pretty booty weapon that does. Overall, if at least 75% of these weapons interest you, I'd say it might be safe to pull on the weapon banner, but please keep in mind, the weapon banner is a dangerous dark pit of despair to everyone, even whales, so be careful nonetheless. But yeah, I think in general, both of these banners have some of the highest value I've seen in a while, and they're gonna be good for a lot of players, mostly people who want Hu Tao teams, but still, as I said, there's a lot of versatility with the weapons and characters you can pull on these these banners. So if you enjoyed this video and it helped you in any way, please subscribe, it helps the channel or whatever. Or you can also join my Discord server or follow me on Twitch with any of the links below. Alright, I'm gonna go bully the Primo Geobishop for Hu Tao Ascension materials since I procrastinated that for, what, 7 weeks now? Goodbye.